Welcome to the Angular 3D chart tutorial. The Syncfusion Angular 3D chart is a graphical representation of data in 3 dimensions, showcasing relationships and trends among variables. Unlike traditional 2D charts, 3D charts add depth to the visualization, allowing for a more immersive and comprehensive understanding of data patterns. Syncfusion's Angular 3D chart component supports more than 6 chart types. In this video, I will use the 3D column chart and show you how to enable a few of its basic features. I will start with the application creation process. I'm going to create an Angular application using the Angular CLI tool. Make sure you have installed the latest version of Node.js. I will edit my code in Visual Studio Code and viewing the output in the Microsoft Edge browser. To create a project in Angular, I open Visual Studio Code and install the Angular CLI using the npm install -g at angular/CLI command. Next, I will create a new Angular project. I use the ng new project name command and name my project my Angular app. I am creating a project with the option to add a CSS style sheet, so I choose the CSS option. The project creation has started and an Angular project along with its dependencies is being created. Now let me navigate to the project folder. To add the Syncfusion Angular 3D chart, install the Syncfusion Angular charts package using the npm install at syncfusion/ej2 Angular charts --save command. The application is now ready to use. The first thing I must do here is register the trial license key to use Syncfusion components. I open the main TS file and import the register license method from the Syncfusion ej2 base package. Using this method, I register the trial license key. To learn how to generate this license key, refer to the link in the description below. The application is now configured to use Syncfusion components, so I navigate to the app component TS file and import the chart 3D all module from Syncfusion ej2 Angular charts. Then register it within the imports array of the component section. Then I move to the app component HTML file and remove its default content. I add a division element with a class wrapper. Within the div element, I add the 3D chart by adding the EJ's chart 3D tag and setting its width to 800 pixels. To align the component, I open app component CSS file and add a few CSS styles like margin and padding. I save the changes and run the application using the npm start command. You can see the chart is rendered with 2 axes, X and Y, with no data points displayed. Next, I will show you how to populate data in the chart and display it as a column series. I define an eChart 3D series collection tag, which is of type array and can contain several eChart 3D series definitions. I add a single series by adding an eChart 3D series tag. Now I need to add data to the chart series. I navigate to the app component TS file and declare an array of objects named DataSource. Inside the ng-on-init method, I initialize the DataSource object and add appropriate data with X and Y fields. Then I assign this object to the DataSource property of the eChart 3D series tag. I also assign X field to the XName property and Y field to the YName property. To render the chart in column series, I set the type to column. I am using categorized data for the x-axis, so I need to customize the x-axis value to category. So I declare a variable named primary x-axis and define it inside the ngOnInit method. I set the value type to category. I then assign this primary x-axis object to the primary x-axis property of the 3D chart component. Now you can see the column series chart displaying the provided data. I can customize the depth of the data visualization by setting the depth property. Now I set the depth to 200. See now the depth of the view is increased to 200. To adjust the viewpoint and orientation of the chart, I set the tilt and rotation properties with appropriate values. See, the 3D chart is visualized with the provided view settings. To set a title to the chart, I add the title property and set an appropriate value. See, the title is added to the chart. Now let me show you how to add data labels to the chart to display information about the data points. I declare an object named DataLabel, and inside the ngOnInit method, I initialize the DataLabel object and set the visible property to true. Then I assign this object to the DataLabel property of the eChart 3D series tag. See now the chart is rendered with data labels displaying data points. Next, I am going to add a legend to provide more information about the series in the chart. To add a legend, I declare an object named legend. I initialize it and set the visible property to true. I then assign this object to the legend settings property. I also set an appropriate name to the legend using the name property. You can see that the chart now displays the legend, and you can collapse or expand the series of the chart by clicking the legend. Finally, I will show you how to make the chart more interactive by adding tooltips to it. I define a variable, tooltip, and enable the tooltip by setting the enable property to true. I assign this variable to the tooltip property. See in the output, a tooltip is shown for every chart data point. In this video, I showed you how to create an Angular project using Visual Studio Code and add the Syncfusion Angular 3D chart component to it. I also demonstrated how to render a column series in the chart with basic features like a legend and tooltips. You can download the example used in this video from the GitHub link shared in the description below. I have also shared a link where you can see if you qualify for our community license, which gives you a free license key for our entire Angular component suite. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.